Nirvana does not raise the question for whom, for what, who has Nirvana. All these questions belong only to the Samprati. In the Nirvana, these distinctions about Nirvana for me, Nirvana for you, all that doesn't exist. The I doesn't exist. The I is only something which is existing only in a context, in the Samprati Satta, in the reality of practical world. But in the ultimate experience, there is no I. There is no I who has clear Nirvana. This is exactly what the Westerners ask. You Hindus, they say, you talk about all the souls finally going and joining the ocean of Brahma. But then once you have joined the ocean, where would you be? They ask you that question. Why this great concern about you? Why should we be so much concerned about my getting Nirvana? When Nirvana comes, the question of my and you disappears. That will be the Buddhist answer to you.
Buddhism says Nirvana. That's why I said when they say no Atma.
Yeah.
There is a question of Nirvana. Why Nirvana?
There is no question of why about
there
Nirvana.
There is no Atma. There is no...
Nirvana is beyond all question. It's beyond all I and you. I and you have no significance whatsoever for Nirvana. Nirvana is something in which you transcend your I-ness. The I-ness, separation doesn't exist. I-other separation doesn't exist in Nirvana. You transcend it. This is one of the difficult points between Hinduism and Buddhism, because in Hinduism the Atma is affirmed in such a way that everything else is built on the Atma. The Atma's identity as Brahma and the world's identity as Brahma. But all of that is Atmavada with a deep rootedness in the Atmavada. Whereas the Buddhist Anatmavada or Nairatmavada is saying, this concern about where will I be is totally out of place. You don't need to worry about such questions about whether I have Nirvana or somebody else has Nirvana. That question is unnecessary. That is an unnecessary clinging to the I. That will be the Buddhist response.
So how to construct any sense of meaning? What's the point of striving in life for any kind of meaning? If you don't have a basis of Atma, what then would you say the Buddhists put in that place?
Nothing
why
has,
meaning? There's no I, there's no...
Nothing has to be put in its place, because once you have Nirvana, you have transcended the I-you and the I-it.
Who has Nirvana? Who has Nirvana?
What is the energy in the first place to get to?
Nirvana is not something which you can have. Having is a peculiarity of human beings who are so greedy to have. They would have Nirvana also. You're not satisfied, I know.
Object of achievement. For whom? Why? What is the necessity?
Not for whom. I'm not trying to achieve something for me.
Then for whom? Why?
The question of for doesn't exist. What?
Who is suffering also? Nobody is suffering.
Suffering is...
Nobody is getting Nirvana. Nobody is suffering.
No, that's all here. In the Samprati Satta, all these things, I, you, suffering, everything is there. No problem. But in Nirvana, I, you and everything else is there.
That in moksha also I and you.
Yeah, of course.
But
Like in the
when we are talking about Nirvana,
Yeah.
then we are talking of anatma.
Yeah.
And there is no atma at all.
Yeah.
There is no person, there is no individual entity or whatever you want to call it. This will
Yeah, this
attain
stage,
Nirvana or this will come to a state of Nirvana.
there's great attachment to the self, the person, the I, the ego, and somehow I must have Nirvana. This is the kind of basic sickness.
As you rightly said, that Buddha was not much interested in philosophy. He was more concerned with fire, the method. And now this anatma is a meditation. Now let us say one person is blind
if he says that I have no eyesight, maybe someday he will develop eyesight and see the color. So maybe this meditation was prescribed for achieving a certain end, and he didn't want to formulate in advance.
I would say this. In the Buddhist teaching, there are two different things. One is you deny any Ishvara or God. But that is not done with any great vehemence. It's just ignored. Don't ask the question about God. But when it comes to Atma, the attack is fierce. The Pudgalavada, Nairatmyavada, the anti-Pudgalavada is very, very strong. Not like the ignoring of God. But the Atma is definitely denied because in the perception of the Buddha, this preoccupation about my own salvation is one of the problems of all religions. If you are worried about your own salvation, that is a higher form of spiritual selfishness.
I have 3 questions I'll ask in reverse order. If you have time, fine. If not, I'll go one by one. I recently came to learn that ego grasping occurs in, I don't know how I read this, but somebody told me that ego grasping occurs in less than a 1/65th of a finger snap.
Less than
1/65th of a finger snap is how fast the ego grasping happens. Now the question is, if that is what happens, this point instant that you got must be faster than that, right?
It has no dimension, it cannot be measured in terms of 1/65th of a nimisha or
This idea of Chanika.
Chanika Vada is an old theory in Buddhism. But this is more than just Chanika. It is in space and time without dimension. No dimension at all. Chana is still a dimension. The point instant has no dimension, spatial or temporal.
Then the name should be something I don't know what.
Point instant is our way of saying a point is obviously without dimension in mathematics. Though in practice point always has a dimension. In mathematics it's without dimension. And the instant also.
Then we have to talk about pure point instant. Anyway, okay.
The in Pramana means what?
Pra always means going forward. Mana means measure. So you go on measuring. It's a measuring rod. A pramana is a measuring rod. A valid means of cognition is what many people translate it as. Valid means of cognition.
But does not also the Naga say that this is the only valid cognition?
The point instant.
Essential aspect of the valid cognition, the point instant.
But the point instant cannot be grasped by the consciousness. The point instant hits you. But what you grasp is something that is
But
made
is it valid
by
cognition? Is it valid cognition, the point instant?
No, it doesn't come within the valid cognition.
No.
The point instant cannot be cognited, understood, comprehended, or become conscious of. It is not objectifiable.
Perhaps that's why 0 and infinity have such a vast significance in Hindu and Buddhist philosophy.
Yeah, you had some more questions?
One is there anywhere I can get a bibliography or a history books to understand what you said here?
Well, I have a little chapter here in this book, Enlightenment East and West, where I speak about Tignaga and Dharmakirti and Vajaspati Misra. That is the closest I've seen. Most textbooks, surveys on Buddhism just shy away from this Tignaga, Dharmakirti ideas. They just don't like it. I don't know why.
How useful is Sherbatsky's Buddhist logic?
Well, Sherbatsky's book on Buddhist logic was written in the early decade of the century in Leningrad, when he did not have access to a large number of documents. There have been almost no one who surpasses him in knowledge in his time. But since his time, so many new documents have come back to us from Chinese and Tibetan, and therefore Sherbatsky is dated. Very scholarly, very learned. Yes.
In terms of practice, what is the relevance of this philosophy?
Again, the attempt is the same as what Nagarjuna was trying to do, namely, not to make the objects of your conceptuality any kind of reality. Take away the ultimate reality of all objects and things in this world, including yourself. That I think is the big Naga purpose, also the Nagarjuna ultimate purpose.
So are you saying that whereas from the point of view of the philosophical work, Nagarjuna and Naga are not exactly the same, but from the point of view of practical
Orientation.
They lead you to the
similar objectives.
Would one then in meditation focus on the point instant?
You can't.
That would not focus, but
Now the purpose of
go back to it or trick it or whatever you want.
the purpose of the one-point meditation, in which you concentrate on a one point, is a way to experiencing the point instant. But you don't see the point instant as an object of your meditation. The meditation on the point instant, on the point, one point, is a way by which you move towards this Prabuddha.
May I now build up on this question? See, now in the Tibetan Buddhism, you have one vehicle called the Sutrayana vehicle, which is the cause vehicle, and the second vehicle is called the Tantrayana vehicle, or the effect vehicle. Tantrayana is meditation. Right? Okay. Right? Okay.
So far I have not said anything about Tantra.
Right.
Tantra is a one big tradition in Buddhism, but I have not said anything about it. I mean, I could say something about it, but it has not much to do with Nagarjuna. Probably Nagarjuna also had a Guhya Tantra. Guhya Tantra. Guhya Tantra. Guhya. Hidden Tantra. But he doesn't write about it.
But Tantrayana is part of Yogacara history, right?
Yes, Tantra is very old in India, and all these traditions have got Tantra, but philosophically, only much later did the Vajrachara or the Tantra system as such becomes formulated much later.
Now the question is, there is a big debate about whether Hindu Tantra preceded Buddhist Tantra or Buddhist Tantra preceded Hindu Tantra.
Both Tantra antedates both Hinduism and Buddhism. It's one of the earliest foundational traditions in India. The leading expert on Tantra is sitting before you. You can ask her. Yogini Shivani. She is a great expert on Kundalini and on Tantra, so you can ask her the question.
Because of this point instance is neither subjection nor pramana.
Doesn't come through. But Teksha is an experience which takes place, but you conceptualize it in the second instant. The first instant, the point instant hits you, and then in a subsequent instant you conceptualize it and then you perceive it. And only then perception takes place. The first instant perception, we don't get it.
Then it can also not serve as the basis of any subsequent cognition.
Sorry, what was the question?
It doesn't serve as the basis of any subsequent perception. No, the point instant always escapes every attempt of the consciousness to grasp it. So subsequent or first time, it's not graspable. You experience it in terms of some concepts which you supply.
Not necessarily.
No, according to Digna.
It could be just in the form of some energy or vibration.
But it's still a concept. Vibration is a concept.
I would say no.
Energy is a concept. Vibration is a concept.
Vibration is a concept. Is that true? Vibration is energy as opposed to concept.
No, it's a name you have given to something. It's a name, word.
It's Namarupa, right?
That's true. You have given a name called energy for something which comes in the form of waves or something. But you don't, the word energy is only a concept.
Yes. That is a concept. That's not that word, but the experience of the energy, is that a concept?
It's the experience of prataksha and anumana, but all experience is conceptual. Human experience is conceptual.
Does that include yogic perception? Does the yogi have a clear understanding of
Yogi does not have the normal kind of prataksha, but the yogi also has got prataksha. Direct experience of some reality which other people do not experience.
there's no perception?
All prataksha is conceptual.
So would animals have non-conceptual direct experience of reality?
We don't know much about animal perception. Knowledge. Regression.
No, really, I mean, why not?
No.
Because you said this is a tape recorder and this is a cup and that's it.
Yeah.
If the cow came, it would be nothing, it would just be direct experience without being named.
Well, I don't know how the cow would understand. Take the cow. Yes, please.
My question is, what if a child in the womb experience or
It's not conceptual. Because conceptual requires linguistic capacity. And the baby in the womb does not have the conceptual capacity. What the baby experiences is not conceptual. I am not in a position at the moment to give you a philosophical answer to the question of the experience of the baby in the womb.
what I'm trying to say is that there's a certain mental environment which we experience and we do not conceptualize about that. But the impressions remain.
I don't know about the mental environment of the baby in the womb. I don't know. The incipient mind is there, but its conceptual capacity is not developed while it is in the womb. It becomes developed only after contacts.
It's a protection, right? The baby still has a protection, right?
Yeah, the baby has some experience, but I'm not in a position to philosophize on that. I have not reflected, I have not read any.
I think that point is a very important one.
It's a very important point. I agree with you.
Prataksha is much wider than concept, it seems to me. Right?
Baba, you said alaya is a that alaya, the samskaras, is transmigration, right? Then this alaya in the womb has all those samskaras which are again in your categories, conceptual experience of protection.
No, potentially.
Potentially, yes.
Only it has to come out. It has to come out and begin to experience things by touch and by sight and by its senses before it can begin to exercise these vasanas and samskaras. It's there latently, but not operative.
Why was the Alaya Vijnana called the soul in disguise? It was called the soul in disguise.
Well, Alaya Vijnana has been severely attacked by the Naga. We didn't like the idea of an Alaya which transmigrates. Because the Alaya is actually in effect the same thing as the soul.
Yes.
It's a substitute
Yes.
for the Alaya. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So that's why the Naga says no Alaya Vijnana. But it's very difficult to understand transmigration
Yes.
if you don't have a soul.
Yes.
And so you bring something called an alaya,
Yes.
which is a complex of all the samskaras embodied in your chitta, which migrates from one body to another, and also it doesn't instantly migrate. That is, at the moment of death, the alaya does not necessarily move into a new body. But what happens to that alaya in the intermediate stage is one of the problems that Nagad has some reference to that.
Father, it would be interesting to know, and maybe also Rinpoche can tell us something. What are the Madhyamika reputations of the alaya?
Rinpoche.
Madhyamika reputation, because they don't accept alaya.
Most, except some Vijnanavadins have an alaya Vijnana school.
But within Madhyamika you will have that breakup again. So
In Madhyamika you have
Yogacharas.
no. In Madhyamika you have
Vijnanavadins.
Satantrika, Satantrika.
Vijnanavadins, alaya Vijnana.
Yes, yes.
Alaya Vijnana school. It's only a school.
Yes.
Swatantra
Swatantra and Satantra.
and some
Yes. Chittamatra.
One
Satantra.
accepting alaya Vijnana.
What do the other? How do the other refute the alaya? The Prasangika would refute it. The Satantrika would refute it.
It's, for them it's not necessary to assert such thing.
Occam's razor. Occam's razor. In the West, there is a concept called Occam's razor. Any concept which is not necessary is shaved off. Shaved off. Yes, sir.
Is the enlightenment of Gautama Buddha yogi jnana, yogi prataksha?
The ultimate Sambodhi is certainly not in the same category as the Yogi Prataksha. The Yogi Prataksha is something within the Yogachara school where you have meditating yogis who have experiences which are not yet enlightenment, which are only experiences preliminary to before real enlightenment. Enlightenment itself is not Yogi Prataksha. Enlightenment transcends all Prataksha, Anumana, everything. Real Nirvana, all these questions cease to exist. Nirvana is ceasing, it's going up, becoming extinct. Lamp going extinct. There you don't have anything conceptual, subject, object, knowledge, experience, all those things go out.
Then is enlightenment above right knowledge? Ignorance and karma kirti divide the right knowledge into two categories. One is prataksha, the other anumana. Then is enlightenment above right knowledge?
Neither within Prataksha nor within Anumana. Beyond both.
But then is enlightenment not knowledge? Is enlightenment not knowledge?
Not knowledge.
Not knowledge in the subject-object type. No. Enlightenment is not a subject-object knowledge. It's a prajna paramita. Paramita.
Yeah, paramita is the but is again prajna.
Prajna paramita means that which goes beyond the prajna. That which transcends the prajna. Paramita is not only perfection but also transcending. So prajna paramita means that which transcends the prajna. Not within the prajna. Sambodhi, Nirvana doesn't occur within the prajna.
And then what he say Gautama Buddha experience in his enlightenment from the point of view of Ignaga and Dharma?
No conceptual way of explaining Nirvana. Nirvana is a final state in which all subject-object, all distinction between knower, known and knowledge is abolished. There is no such distinction in Nirvana. There is no subject, no object, no experiencer, no experiencing. All that is only in Nirvana Satya, in this world of ours.
Enlightenment.
Pardon?
What do we call it? Enlightenment.
That is the true Sambodhi. That means when everything falls into place. Samyak Sambodhi is the fitting experience. It's not even experience.
Something positive.
It's positive, but it has no conceptual content.
Yes.
No,
And there is non-conceptual knowledge.
That depends on your understanding of knowledge. If the knowledge that transcends all knowledge is also knowledge, then it is. The word knowledge,
that transcends conceptual thing. That's okay.
Yeah.
But how can we say knowledge that transcends knowledge?
yeah, that's the difficulty. That is precisely the difficulty. Because when we use the word knowledge, we have a subject-object experience or experiencing dichotomy in our understanding of all knowledge. The knower, the known and the knowledge are three different entities in our experience. But in Nirvana, these distinctions disappear. So does in moksha. In Shankaracharya's conception of moksha,
What does that mean? For example, when we talk three levels, ultimate convention. When we talk about convention, everything is possible. Never gonna say. Whatever the world accepts, I accept. That is
Nirvriti Satta.
yes, conventional level. So on the ultimate level, it's empty,
Shunyata.
right? So that is okay. But when we discuss, when we talk about the state of nirvana, we can still talk conventional level.
Now any
For
definition,
example, we are talking about nirvana to be achieved,
we do talk.
etc.
We do talk about nirvana beyond the conceptual, beyond knowledge. We say many things about nirvana,
Yes, yes.
but none of those things are a
We
concept.
are talking within
With Nirvriti Satta.
yes,
Vidya Samuspalla.
yes, Satya. So, what still staying on that level, we can talk about all these things, nirvana, body, somebody. So, why can't we accept that there is knower and knowledge and all that, while staying in that level? I agree if we go ultimate level, then not only nirvana, but then we cannot assert any existence. Why nirvana? Think about nirvana. Even established.
Well, I
To
think,
say it's beyond.
well, I think maybe we can get into the explanation of nirvana with substratum, without remainder, these various kinds of nirvana.
For example, Nagarjuna would say, if you say Shunya exists, you are wrong.
Right.
Shunya cannot exist. All bhavas exist, but they have no swabhava.
I would say, someone asks, does Shunya exist? We have to ask the question, in which level you are talking about? Conventional level or ultimate level? Conventional level, yes, Shunyata also exists. Ultimate level, let alone Shunyata, you don't.
One of the difficulties of the word exist is that normally we use it for something which exists at a given time and a given place. And Nirvana doesn't exist in that.
It's not a historical reality.
Historical reality is a distinction which is made by the West. Historical reality is a reality which can be established from historical resources, which is not an Indian concept at all. We don't have a historical reality kind of thing. All we can say is whether it is Samvriti Satta or Paramartha Satta. We say Nirvana is Paramartha Satta, and the Paramartha Satta is not conceptualizable. Okay? Two. Father has a friend. Shivani is very polite. She doesn't want to argue with me. That's why otherwise she can refute all my statements. But
We have a debate.
if you get Ramu Gandhi, he will clobber me and destroy me. And there won't be any politeness there.
So thanks all very much. Anyone who wants to know about our program, we have some programs in the morning. We have next month's program will come out in about 2 weeks. This month's program. There's no more talks this month, but we do have meditation. And an all-day retreat next Sunday. It is beyond thought.
Beyond concept. You can buy it at our center. At our center you can buy it. They have copies for sale, don't you? They have copies of this in Delhi?
Also the Institute of Advanced Study Shimla, they also have it.
They have it, yes. Institute of Advanced Study in Shimla, they published it. They have it. But here booksellers don't have it.
Can you post it to me? Can you post it to me? Can you post it to me? I'll be
Here only for a few days. I'm very difficult. I think.
Then
Can you post it to him? Huh? No, no. Because that. But because you won't get it. Ad infinitum. Then, if your premise, your pramana is not valid, then your knowledge is also not valid. This is where Nagarjuna ends up. Spurvavada is finished. Now, I could go on that subject for a long time, but I think you've been very patient. I must admire the patience with which you have listened. I've tried to make the philosophy palatably, not too complicated. I hope you will have some comments to make which will help my own mind. Please, you have some time. Yes.
You just mentioned initially Bodhisattva ideal. When we go to the theory of dependent origination, for everything interconnectedness, even if a person who is enlightened, he cannot be independent, he has to remain interdependent. So there is no question of having an ideal of Bodhisattva. It is understanding means it is so.
Yeah, you're quite right. If I absolutize a so-called bodhisattva ideal, I would be wrong. But Nagarjuna would say, along with Buddha, that you need the kind of inspiration that the Buddha himself gives. That's Buddham Sharanam. You need the Sangha. You cannot be bodhisattva in isolation from the Sangha. You also need to have the dharma. That means an understanding of what upholds reality. That also you need to have. But within that, the bodhisattva ideal as a kind of vinaya, not as a kind of dharma, but as a kind of vinaya. Vinaya means simply the discipline to do. Then the Buddhist bodhisattva ideal comes very close to the Christian bodhisattva ideal. That's what I would try to say.
Could you speak up so we can catch it on this?
Please. Back row and then you. All right? Okay, then you ask first.
If you have to compare the postmodern Nagarjuna's philosophy, how would you compare that? What similarities or differences can you find? Do you think he has an answer for this postmodernist trap that people are in today?
The postmodernist and the Buddhist are both pratishedhas, protests. The postmodernist makes no final affirmation. He simply says the modernist assumption that based on the human reason, without the help of any tradition, you can arrive at truth. That is the basic affirmation of modernism. That he rejects. But then what do you put in its place? Nothing. Like Nagarjuna, he holds it open. And so there is something there which is similar or parallel as historical processes. Because the problem with Brahmanism in the 6th and 7th centuries BC was that either it had become too ritually cultic or it had become dogmatic intellectually, and it was from both that Nagarjuna was revolting, but he didn't want to slip back into a kind of new dogma which replaces the old dogma. Now most postmodernists also do not want to fall into that trap, and therefore they avoid having a dogma of their own. But they do this prasangika business of deconstruction and taking everybody else's thinking apart and so on. But they have no proposition of their own. So there is something common between the two approaches. You are right. But the postmoderns are reacting only against European enlightenment. They have no clue to Indian philosophy. They don't. I must tell you again, I've borne many insults. One of them was from Pope John Paul II. The other one was from the greatest living philosopher, Jürgen Habermas. Once I told him, shouldn't you also improve your mind by a little exposure to Asian philosophy and thought? And shouldn't you have a dialogue with the Asian religions and cultures? And what he said has made me incapable of talking to him again. He said, well, when those people come up to our level. What was the traditional teaching of Buddhism that was given to him and putting it into a systematic form? Even in the Shunya doctrine, he didn't create it. It was there already in the heritage. Pratitya Samutpada, not Nagarjuna's creation. So what Nagarjuna does is he takes the tradition and liberates it from some of the Buddhist sects who were distorting it, like the Abhidharmikas. The Abhidharmikas were simple pluralists, like many of us, who are saying everything is what it is. Everything has its own swabhava. Everything is a separate entity. That kind of teaching was there, the Abhidharmika teaching. That he is certainly refuting very strongly. That is where he has his mind. But he also is attacking the Nayayika, the Nyaya theory which was coming up, which is a very kind of typical modern Western kind of logic. What they produced in the 20th century, already the Nayayikas produced in a very systematic way. This Aristotelian logic had come here already in the 2nd century BC. And on the basis of that Aristotelian logic, our Nayayikas created a very beautiful system. That is the one that Nagarjuna is attacking. It's basically Aristotelian logic in its Indian shape.
Divine beings.
Yeah. This is something which many of our modern generation has a great difficulty with.
What is the question?
Divine beings, who are they?
What are they?
What are they? How are they? Where are they?
What are they?
Try to say.
The word is Deva.
Let me try to say it very simply. We sometimes think that apart from us and God, there is nothing else, even those who believe in God. But the world is so full of existences of which we have no clue. Some of them are pretty bad, some of them are indifferent, some of them are good, but we're all fighting and jealous and greedy and so on also sometimes some of them. There is a whole world of other existence which are impinging upon us in our life. That is what all of these people call devas. And then the asuras or demons come also as not just forces but beings with a will who are trying to have their impact on human actions. They all believe that. I still believe it. I still believe that there are so many beings all around us, impinging upon us, influencing us. But we are not just on our own.
What is the relevance of Shunyan philosophy in Indian philosophy?
I don't know what you mean. Shunyan philosophy is Indian. And at present, our government says that producing commodities is the most important thing. And that is against Shunya philosophy.
Have it been seen as
This worldly truth.
Oh yes, provided it is put in relation to Paramartha. This is what I'm always saying. In your Vedanta, for example, the Paramartha Satta is totally divorced from Samriddhi Satta. And in our secular thinking, Samriddhi Satta is totally divorced from the Paramartha Satta. I'm saying these two must be related to each other. There must be some way of holding them in proper perspective and not at the same level. They've got significance-wise different value connotations. So I'm not saying take one and throw the other out. Two should be kept together.
So how would one impinge on the other?
The whole
In
thing,
this context.
the whole thing of the ideal, bodhisattva ideal, are things which you do in this world. Compassion, being kind, looking after the needy, being a protection to those who are suffering. All these things are things which you do in the Samriddhi Satta, which leads you on to the Bodhi, to the eternal. So how can you, within this world of Samriddhi Satta, do those things that are leading to the Paramartha Satta and to Nirvana, to fulfillment, to liberation, to mukti? That I think is the important thing. Giving a cup of, your own bread may not be spiritual, but your neighbor's bread is already spiritual. Giving a cup of cold water to somebody else is a spiritual act. Drinking it may not. No, that is Samriddhi Satta. Everything has got its value and its significance. That's where we're.
The Parvata Satya and the Samriddhi Satya is one more important than the other, or other two equal in value.
No, I would not say that they are equally important. Samriddhi Satta is a necessary setting, level for the existence and continuation of this world, of family, of society, and all these things. They have an importance. You can't say that they are of secondary importance. But Paramartha Satta is much more important. And everything you do in the Samriddhi Satta should somehow be related to that. But the ultimate reality is Paramartha.
We still have time for maybe one or two questions more, otherwise you can save them for Monday.
About the second statement. Chandrakriti says Samriddhi Satta is method.
Yeah, Chandrakirti says that Samriddhi Satta is an entity. Is the method. Is the method
or means
yeah.
to reach to
Yeah. Not Samriddhi Satta as a whole, but practicing the Bodhisattva ideal within the Samriddhi.
No, that's not the context.
Chandrakirti is different.
Madhyamika avatar.
Yeah. Chandrakirti is saying that Samriddhi Satta is justified in that it leads ultimately to Nirvana.
It leads to
therefore-
the understanding of ultimate reality.
Yeah, not understanding, but liberation. It's different from understanding. I don't think there is any expectation of understanding. Understanding
Realization.
Realization is all.
Realization.
Samriddhi, but I would say, from my own point of view, that practicing the Bodhisattva ideal within the Samriddhi Satta is the marga, is the Vinaya. I think we conclude for this evening. Thank you all. And on Monday we'll try to come to terms with Tinmaga and Dharmakirti.
So thank you all very much.